Hello, previously on our latest episode, I was trying to explain about the changes of the VW Beetle's image. I mean, it started off with a very dark path.
Yes, that's right. With Adolf Hitler wanting a people's car.
Yeah, I could say this, alright. I mean, you don't interrupt. This is my colleague, Captain Gorgeous. Now, we're talking about the VW Beetle. Now, Hitler wanted a family car that he could carry 2 adults and 3 children.
But, technically, he wanted it for military purposes, so it was 3 adults and a machine gun.
Yeah, but we haven't got real proof on that, have we?
Yeah, but the thing is, think of Blitzkrieg. That's why he wanted a fast vehicle. What?
The VW Beetle's not that fast.
But it doesn't take much fuel, and it's fast enough by walking, because that's what they wanted it to do, was come like walking pace.
It don't make sense what you're bloody on about. Oh, now, they created the bleeding VW Beetle for the public.
Yeah, for military uses.
Wait on, the only time it was brought up for military purposes, as far as I know, is the time when Major Ivanhurst came over to Wolfsburg and saw the bombed out factory and realised that there's not having these Germans sitting about doing nothing. They can get off their asses and start doing some work by making some cars for the British and all that lot. And then it could have spawned the factory to somebody, you know, but nobody didn't want it. And you mean Ivanhurst even offered it to Henry Ford, and Henry Ford's like, yeah, a free factory, where is it? And he didn't like the idea that it was near Russia, you know, Stalin and all that lot. And obviously it's still a Hitler's car, so nobody didn't want.
Wait on, Henry Ford did try to buy Volkswagen.
Yeah, but that's when Heinz Nodolf was in charge. I mean, yeah, he did later on, but he was offered it free. I mean, it didn't maybe, you know, it was at the time where they had to sort of like clean it up after all that bomb factory, you know, get the brushes out and give it a quick polish and clean up and, you know, get all the equipment out of the cellars and all that lot, because that's what they did. I mean, there was a lot of work trying to sort that factory out, you know, with, you know, Major Ivanhurst and that. But when he promoted it to Heinz Nodolf, that he's done all that hard work, and then Henry Ford, yeah, he'll have to buy it.
But they turned him down, didn't they?
Well, yeah. So, you know, the problem is later on, you do know that with Volkswagen, they got visited by a couple of dodgy, suspicious characters from prison.
You what?
Yeah, Ferdinand Porsche and his son, Ferry Porsche. Now, Ferry was the one what did negotiation deals and said, look, my dad got all this place going, right? I think he should cut up a deal about helping us out with the old Volkswagen bits and for our new vehicle, Porsche.
Is that all he wanted was bits?
No, he wanted his dad to go reminiscing round the factory, you know, thinking about, you know, for his sweet dad, thinking that could have been all his, you know, thinking this is what I designed, as he slowly went through the factory and all that lot, looking how it was worked and all that lot.
You know what? You know, looking at the factory and all that lot, it reminds me of maybe how the British got the idea of creating the Dalek factories and all that lot in Doctor Who.
Doctor Who? What are you mentioning Doctor Who for?
Well, you know what Doctor Who is, don't you?
Yeah, I do now. We've always got companions and all that lot. I mean, who can't forget them?
Oh no, I just realised. No, pervert alarm.
What are you doing?
You know very well what I'm doing. I mean, that's what I'm doing is our famous common pervert alarm because you're going to put images of ladies on. And I want to know about the facts about Birmingham reminiscing in his factory.
Well, if you let me get on with it instead of interrupting me with sci-fi stuff, right, he would have been reminiscing, thinking about all the slave labour he had working for him. Now he's seeing his own German people working like that and working so committedly hard, creating a great, brilliant vehicle what's going to be sold all the world, round the world, and everybody started buying them, especially the commercial vehicles, as we all know, that famous one, the Type 2, because everybody wanted a van to put a bed in the back for them hippie chicks and all that lot, because that's what the 60s was all about, was all that free loving and all that lot.
Look, do I need to play the pervert alarm again?
No, because I will. No, what I'm trying to get at is that the Type 2 is quite a popular vehicle as the vehicle for hippies, isn't it?
Yeah, but so is the Type 1. I mean, you see that all painted up with flower power and all that lot.
Yeah, but it had a very convenience of being a van. I mean, the car, it had them weird funny smells if you ever been in VW Beetle, with them weird horses, stuffing, and the early ones were done by fish glue and all. Beetles seem to have this weird attractive smell.
Yeah, but maybe that's why them hippie people were smoking herbal tobacco.
Well, yeah, I mean, that would have sort of like dampened the smell a bit, wouldn't they?
Well, yeah, but we'll have to move on to our challenge.
I mean, I've got a good theory that maybe that's why they had lots of sex in them cars as well, to get rid of the smell.
Yeah, we're going on with the challenge now.
So, we've got our time racing driver in a live lobby, as you can see. The driving past online players won't be having a tattoo in the conditions in the wet weather. So, explaining. Right, you may see a white dot on this little map. Now, they're online players.
Everyone knows that.
Yeah, but a lot of people might not know this game, this violent game, that most people go on here, kill each other. And our gimp is coming up to a online player what doesn't expect anyone to come up, but you want to see the reaction of this online player.
Right, this is getting so tense. Oh no, usually you see players like that, they're going through a menu and stuff and leaving themselves vulnerable, getting run over and that, and our gimp is just popping its on peacefully with its little beetle. That proves to show that the charm of that vehicle works. I mean, look, the gimp's got out for a bonus to see if this online player will actually drive that vehicle.
And it does prove to show that, we've given it a new paint job, hippie style and all that, look, because that's what Rockstar Games has actually done. And it proves to show that for this player, that it actually does work. Now, the vehicle, maybe that's why the vehicle was so popular, in the, the 60s, well, no, in America and that, but
well, did that train driver just change and all that lot?
No, don't be concerned about what happens in the game, it's just one of them things, sometimes it's all glitchy in that. So, this online player, he's had a bit of a dabble, meaning he's added a little drive, and leaving it for the professional, not so tame racing driver.
What always seems to be crashing our vehicles when it goes on our test track.
What? Don't get it personal. Anyhow, we'll fast forwarding it a bit because it'll just take on forever. So, our drive is just having a bit of a, accident. Yeah, but it didn't fender bend it or anything. I mean, it's just showing this online player how this vehicle copes. I mean, typical online players that they just like to go around doing shoot buys and all that lot. And yeah, obviously you've got the same racing driver, or not so time, as we should say, that, you know, good for drive-bys. And this is one example. This poor unexpected player, you know, there is just minding its own business, and the poor clown got executed.
Well, you know, this is just how the game works. Now the gimp is found another online player, maybe get another person into the vehicle, but first it's got to get that player's attention. I mean, all they're doing in this shop is buying clothes,
because this is what this game is all about. I mean, it's associated for, you know, young men playing on this game, but it is actually the gist of this game and the proper reality of it all. It is just a simple shopping game, and that's all it does. It encourages you to actually go out and get educated how to use your money, like asking your parents to borrow their credit cards just to buy, you know, educational shortcuts to use them. But you really, for help Rockstar Games, that you need to spend your parents' money to, you know, to buy these grey-white shortcuts, and you can go up to 8 million. I mean, alright, I mean the vehicles are very expensive. I mean, look at the new Presser Mark II. It's always 6 million, but you know, you can get a shortcut. You got 2 million, you know, spare, and yeah.
don't be saying that, bleeding that. Just get on and be hard work, like this online player was doing, like the taxi driving job.
You do know that our time racing driver did that, and saw that film Taxi Driver 2.
With that person what's trying to look like Robert De Niro.
Yeah, that one what my brother got from the car boot sale. Now, this is another online play what likes bikes, but we'll have to see what the gimp can do.
What happened there? The online player, what? That didn't look right.
Well, we're showing it again. Like, that's what the perspective now is. The online player fell off their bike, alright?
Alright. I mean, that's how dangerous. You should never really ride bikes, kiddie winkies. I mean, that's why you fall off.
Well, state the bleeding obvious, don't you? Anyhow, our time racing driver noticed a Betty, but that's another online player. And then there was another on player, like pursuing them maybe. But then all of a sudden, they may be British or something, they're in a Mini. And first thing they start doing is papping their horns. Now you may realise that the gimp did actually go in the garage. We'll cut that bit out, because the gimp has changed their horn, as you can tell. So you got the old classic San Andreas tune blasting away. And look, even the gangster horn on the VW Beetle is proving that it does the impression. I mean, this is maybe the why in the 60s why people like it. I mean, alright, the gimp's getting in the Mini and then realise, oh yeah, it's got to encourage other online players, and it works. So if you recognise this little mouse character, I mean, yeah, I mean, that is it. I mean, it proves to show that that vehicle, when it came over to America, not many Americans liked it. I mean, the men started to sell 2 VW Beetles, but then when they started advertising the car, I mean, that what got that vehicle successful was when they started advertising it, like being like think small, it's a lemon, you know, making it a basic, simple, cheap car to buy. And that's what it did. It just had that hidden charm.
So that's the end of the clip. We just showed briefly the online players' names, and it should be the end of the episode. So on that unleaded pencil, it's time to end the show.
Oh, that was terrible.